Can you see the recording button?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's great.
Recording is going on.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for joining me in this session for the social linguistics. So our course title, you can see that social linguistics and psycholinguistics. So in the first half of the semester, we will be dealing with social linguistics. So as a part of that discussion, so we will be talking about social linguistics today. And since it is our first lecture about it, so we will try to have some basic idea about the definition of social linguistics and also its scopes and some other areas of social linguistics. Now, if I go through the first paragraph from these texts, you can see that social linguistics is the study of how language serves and is shaped by the social nature of human beings. So actually, social linguistics, if I just put it simply, it means that the study of language with reference to the society. So we will take society as the reference, and then we'll try to study language. So on the basis of that, with relation to the society, we'll try to study the language. So that is the social linguistics, that how actually society influences language and how language actually changes on the basis of different kinds of social factors. So that is the main purpose or objectives of social linguistics. And it says that in its broadest conception, social linguistics analyzes the many and diverse ways in which language and society entwine. Entwine means actually how society, social linguistics, it analyzes the many and diverse ways. That means there are many ways that how language and society, they are interconnected. They are interconnected. They are intertwined or entwined. This vast field of inquiry requires and combines insights from a number of disciplines, including linguistics, sociology, psychology, and anthropology. That how actually you can say that is sociology, social linguistics as a subject, or actually it is connected or it gets its insights from a number of different other disciplines. So in that sense, social linguistics, it has an approach which is very much multidisciplinary. With different other disciplines, it will depend for its perspectives or analysis for different other disciplines or different other disciplines like linguistics, sociology, psychology, and anthropology. Now, social linguistics examines the interplay of language and society with language as the starting point. So social linguistics actually examines the interplay of language and society. That means how language and society, they play roles together to shape the human life, to shape the human psyche. Now, here you can see variation is the key concept applied. Variation is the key concept applied to language itself and to its use. The basic premise of social linguistics is that language is variable and changing. So if you just take a look at this specific sentence, that what is the basic premise or what is the basic idea of social linguistics? That is, language is variable and changing. Okay. So language is variable and changing. Can anyone explain it? What does it mean? What do you understand by language is variable and changing?
So different society, maintain different language.
Time.
Okay.
So it's about dialect.
Language is also depend on time. Time change, language also change and variable. one place to another place.
That means space is important here. That you want to say, right?
Sir. Place in society,
Mhm.
culture.
Okay. Society, culture, exactly. Yes, because of all these factors, that so
always changing.
sorry, actually, because
Our
of your network.
previous language is not like the present language.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because of these different society and different time, language is ever changing, and that's why I say the sociolinguistics actually tries to track down that kind of changes. Okay, so as a result, language is not homogeneous, not for the individual user, and not within or among groups of speakers who use the same language. So language is not homogeneous. So what is this? I mean, language is not homogeneous. Yes, can anyone tell me? Language is not homogeneous.
Sir,
So it's not identical.
Exactly, it's not identical, and at the same time, they're not same. Exactly, from individual user to individual user, it varies. Not within or among groups of speakers who use the same language. I mean, it's not. I mean, not for the individual user, and not within or among groups of speakers who use it. So, language is not homogeneous. It's not homogeneous for the individual user. Even sometimes we'll find that with the same community, different people, use different kinds of diction, and even their sentence structure and pronunciations are different. So why it happens? So sociolinguistics, sociolinguists, these people actually, they try to find it out and they try to record it, that why actually it happened. Okay, now on the next page, you can see by studying written records, sociolinguists also examine how language and society have interacted in the past. So, as Fahim has already mentioned, just a few minutes back, that time, right? Time is there. So we can see that how time actually, it has played its role. So sociolinguists also examine how language and society have interacted in the past. So they will also try to track down the past history of the language, how actually it worked in the past. For example, they have tabulated the frequency of the singular pronoun thou and its replacement you in dated handwritten or printed documents, and correlated changes in frequency with changes in the class structure of 16th and 17th century England. So you can see in the 16th century at that time, especially, I mean, when actually in the 16th century in England, they used to say thou. If you just read the Shakespeare's drama plays, you can find that in Shakespeare's dramas, you will find that he used the word thou. You have noticed this, right, in his text?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But at present time, do you say thou instead of you?
No, sir. No, sir.
So how actually this change actually, I mean, it occurred. So sociolinguists actually, they will track down, they will note it down, and then they will do some research. And why did it happen? That earlier people used to say thou, but now at present time, we say you. So that's why it says that it's replacement you in dated handwritten or printed documents. That how in the handwritten printed documents, actually, this thou, it has been replaced, or it was replaced by the pronoun you. So they were trying to find these facts. This is historical sociolinguistics. So we call this kind of sociolinguistics, we call it historical sociolinguistics, because it deals with the history. The study of relationship between changes in society and changes in language over a period of time. So the study of language between changes in society and changes in language over a period of time. Do you know this kind of study? What do you call them? We also call it diachronous study. So, I mean, for a longer period of time, like 50 years, 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, like this kind of time, actually, we can do this kind of study, and then we'll try to find out the relationship between the society and language, and that changes over a period of time. And historical sociolinguistics, that studies this kind of changes. Now, to help us understand what sociolinguistics is all about, Cornell suggests we begin by reviewing some of many questions sociolinguistics try to answer through observation and experimentation. So now, these are the questions. Fahim, can you read the first question, please?
Yes, sir. Which features of language behavior are people conscious of using, which are below the level of their conscious awareness?
Yes. Which features of language behavior are people conscious of using? And which are below the level of their conscious awareness? So you see, which features of language behavior are people conscious of using? That means there are some certain language behavior, and as a language user, we are aware of those, or we're very conscious of that kind of usage. For example, if you go to what should I say, very cheap restaurant, then you see your behavior and the way you talk, that is different. But when you go to a 5-star hotel, you'll find that automatically you will be influenced by the environment, and your language register and style, it will be changed. Am I wrong?
Yes, sir.
So it's a kind of language behavior. And then second question, who can read the second question?
To what extent do individual and group use language to define themselves or to set themselves apart?
Okay. So here you see, to what extent do individuals and groups use language to define themselves or to set themselves apart? So these are the very basic questions, fundamental questions actually, that sociolinguistics did always try to find answers to these questions. To what extent do individuals and groups use language to define themselves? For example, we're using Bangla. And at the same time, for example, Tushar, you're using Bangla, but what kind of Bangla actually you're using?
This is called a mixed Bengali.
So you're from which district?
Rangpur district.
So can I say that your language is influenced by Rangpur dialect?
Obviously, sir. There is some tune at my language that involves this is called the Rangpurian language.
Locally, you call it like that, right? I mean, locally you call it, that is the Rangpurian language, or Rangpurian bhasha, right?
Yes, sir.
Tushar. Now you see, Tushar, when you use that the dialect from your area, then you can identify yourself among the other people from the Rangpurs, right?
Yes, sir.
So you see, your group identity and your identity as an individual, it can be defined that you are from Rangpur.
Obviously, sir. There is some স্যার এখানে কিছু স্যার ভেরিয়াস আর কি টান আছে স্যার ভাষার মধ্যে, আর লেখনীতে দেখা যাচ্ছে যে আমরা অনেক সময় যেটা শুদ্ধভাবে লিখি সেটা আঞ্চলিকভাবে বললে স্যার সেটা আর কি স্যার এটাকে স্যার লিখিত ভাষা বলা যাবে না স্যার, আঞ্চলিক লিখিত ভাষা বলা যায় স্যার।
Got it. So you see, if you're among a group of people, they're from Sylhet, and you're the only person who is from Rangpur, can you speak, this dialect from the Sylhet or Sylheti dialect? Can you speak that? Tushar, can you speak Sylheti language?
No, sir. I have no any idea, sir, about language.
So let's, I mean, that dialect. Okay. Me too. Actually, I also don't have that much idea. So now the thing is that when a group of people from Sylhet, they will start talking, you will find that they will just switch the code and then and there they will start talking Sylheti. Okay?
Yes.
And
Okay, sir.
when you are the only person from Rangpur, and you will not be able to participate in that discourse, and as a result, I mean, you will find yourself apart from that group, right? So sociolinguistics, I mean, as a subject, as a discipline, it tries to find out a solution, or it tries to find out the reasons, actually, what are the reasons behind this. So this is also a part of the sociolinguistic, I mean, study. Now, the third question, what factors cause individuals or groups to change their language in order to sound either similar to, or different from others? So sociolinguists also, they will try to find out answer to this question. Now, I hope you understand the question. What does it say? Ritu, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain this question?
So it's about dialect. It means a different different place people using different kind of uh, rhythm in their language, different kind of sound making things. I mean the tone.
All right, now I'll make it simple for you. What factors cause individuals or groups to change their language in order to sound either similar to or different from others?
It's different from others.
I mean, similar to or different from others. And what are the factors? For example, if I go to a upper class society, but I'm from a very middle class society. But when I go to an upper class society, I'll find that their language is different, their dialect is different, the way they talk. And usually we think that that is the standard, right? The
Yes,
way the upper class or the well-educated people, when they talk, we think that that is the standard of the language. So when actually I will be in, I mean, inside that kind of community, or I will be in that kind of groups of people, then what I will do, I will try to imitate them so that I will sound similar to. Understood?
yes, sir. We can use formal language to them. We cannot use the informal language which we use with our family or friends.
And the opposite can also happen. Sometimes, for example, a group of people, they're from Rangpur and they're just using their own dialect, and someone from your locality, he is highly educated, but he doesn't want to be identified as a person from the Rangpur because he doesn't like the people from Rangpur, or maybe he doesn't like the dialect from Rangpur. He just want to, I mean, prove himself that he's different from others. He's highly educated. He's from upper class. Then you will see that you will be using your local dialect, but that person is using very standard language just to make you understand that I'm different from you. Got it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Number 4, in what observable ways do individuals and groups change the features of their language and the ways in which they use language? So in what observable ways do individuals and groups change? So now here, they will try to find out the ways, observable ways, like how did it happen? And they will observe it, this change. Number 5, what factors inhibit or promote the extinction, rise, or maintenance of local varieties of languages? So there are factors that will inhibit. Inhibit means that will cause a kind of hurdle, that will stop the development, that will stop the progress, advancement of that particular language, or what promote the extinction, rise, or maintenance. I hope you know the meaning of the word extinction, right? In Bengali, can you tell me what does it mean, extinction? Anyone?
Sir, মানে বিলুপ্ত হয়ে যাওয়া.
Exactly. So you see, there are factors. Because of those factors, sometimes you'll find that some of the language, I mean, they're becoming extinct. কিছু কিছু ভাষা কোনো কোনো কারণে বিলুপ্ত হয়ে যাচ্ছে, And some of the language you will find that they're getting the prominence. People are using them. And some of the language you will find that the dialect, we are trying to maintain them. And those local dialects, sometimes they are regarded as the standard form. Then why all these things happen? Why some language they die? Why some language they survive? Understood what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
So they will find out these factors. For example, by this time, we can see that Sanskrit, you see, even in 100 years back, Sanskrit, it was regarded as one of the prominent languages. And there were some people, they could speak Sanskrit. They could write in Sanskrit, but at present, how many people you can say that Sanskrit, they can speak Sanskrit and they can write in Sanskrit? How many people? You don't find, I mean, in your locality, you'll find a single person who can speak Sanskrit. But you see, our language actually, it is heavily dependent on Sanskrit. That is you can see it's a kind of, I mean, the mother language. From Sanskrit, we have got this variation of Bangla. But you see, we can speak Bangla, but we don't know anything about Sanskrit. So in that sense, Sanskrit is a dead language. But why did it happen? কেন ঘটলো এরকম? কি ফ্যাক্টর ছিল এর পেছনে যে সংস্কৃত এরকম একটা ডেড ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ হয়ে গেল? Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, number 6. What factors cause listeners to perceive one type of language as higher in status than another? I mean, what are the factors that the listeners, for example, I'm a listener. When somebody is speaking, I'm also an interlocutor, and at the same time, I'm a listener. So I'm listening to you. And for example, all of you, I mean, you 13 students of your class, now I'm listening to your conversations. Then what makes me think that her language is better than him? Or she speaks the standard English, or she speaks the standard Bangla. So what are the factors that the listener is influenced by, that he thinks that language is in higher status? I regard it as the higher status by listening to that language. So what are the factors that cause me to do so? Number 7, do men and women, boys and girls use language differently? If I ask you this question, do men and women, boys and girls use language differently? Who can answer me this question?
Yes, sir.
And your name is?
Sir Ritu.
Only Ritu is there. So Ritu is the courageous one, and rest of the people, they're the Vitu.
No, sir.
Who is this? Who is this courageous person?
Sir Shubhasri.
Good, Shubhasri. So you are not Vitu, unlike Ritu. Okay. All right. So you tell me, do men and women, boys and girls use language differently?
Yes, sir.
Give me an example.
Yes, sometimes, sir.
Sometimes. Okay, give me an example. Who can
So
give me an
I can
example?
give an informal example that, like, the boys says to his friend or another people like that, "Hey, mama," but we girls didn't say that anytime.
Exactly.
We speak politely, but boys didn't do that.
Yes, even their friends are also their mama. So
Yes,
that is quite confusing. Maybe boys are actually, they have a very little sense of relationship. সম্পর্কে কে মামা চাচা এগুলো তো ছেলেরা তো ভালো বোঝে না, অথবা ওদের কাছে সবই মামা। ছোটবেলা থেকে বাঘ মামা, চাঁদ মামা, পরে ওই বন্ধুকেও মামার সাথে মিলিয়ে ফেলেছে। এমনকি রিকশাওয়ালাকেও মামা বলে। তো বন্ধু রিকশাওয়ালার পর্যায়ে পড়ে যাচ্ছে, but still there is no problem with that. And also you can notice one thing, that boys use more slangs than the girls.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that's why you can see, and boys' languages are more, sometimes their language is very straightforward, harsh, strong, right? Rude, yes, all these things together. Okay, so they are different, yeah. Now, do adults change their language and the way they use it as they grow older? Do adults change their language and the way they use it as they grow older?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
For
sir.
example,
Of course,
10 years back, I wasn't used to use this kind of language. But now you see, after 10 years, now I'm older. Certainly, my diction, my behavior, my syntax, my repertoire of language and vocabulary, everything has changed. And accordingly, because of my experience, my language has also been changed, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Then another question, how does education affect the features of language that people use? That is a very important thing actually, and we can work on it. That how education affect. I mean, your education affect your language, right? It
No,
affected
sir.
your
big
education,
effect.
affected your language, isn't it? For example, you are educated, you are going to be a graduate, and you've studied English literature and language. So definitely, you will find that after some time, you can feel it that your language is different from the people who are not that much educated, just like you. So
Yes, sir.
certainly, it's going to affect your language. How do social networks affect language? Social network, does it affect the language? You understand social
Yes, sir.
networks? For example,
Yes,
there are
sir.
some people, they're very much connected with the high officials and all the big guns, and some people they're very, you can say, introverted. They don't like to talk to people. They don't have many friends. They don't maintain social network, social life. So you see, their language will be different because they're very timid or shy or very reserved. On the other hand, people who maintain social network and they're very friendly, amicable, and also they're very outgoing. So certainly, actually, it's going to affect your language, right?
Yes, sir.
Fahim,
Yes, sir.
do you have many friends?
No, sir.
Most of the time you stay in your home, right?
Right, sir.
Tushar, 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 can you hear me? Is Tushar with us?
Sir.
I think he has some network problems. So anyway, so I think Tushar has lots of friends. I guess so. I mean, it's just my assumption because from his attitude, the way he talks, I can feel that. And he's a very friendly kind of person. That means he loves to spend time with friends, I mean, more than anything. And if it is so, if that is the assumption, you can see that the way Fahim talks, he cannot talk, I mean, as fast as Tushar, and he cannot talk on all the topics as Tushar can do. Tushar, I have found that Tushar is more outgoing. He's not as introverted as Fahim. So you see, because of your lifestyle and the way you have your social networking, in this way actually your language is affected in that way. The fluency, and the topics, all these things, and also the structure, vocabulary, all these things are affected by, I mean, your social network. Then the next question is what type of speaker and what type of group initiate linguistic change? Can you tell me what kind of a speaker and what type of group initiate linguistic change? Who brings linguistic change, changes language? What do you think? Who are the people that brings change in the language or linguistic form or linguistic situation?
High society people,
Anything else?
powerful people.
Sir, who are more educated?
So professional person,
The
when a
critics.
person goes to the professional stage, job
Okay.
stage.
Okay, all of you are right. For example, if I'm said high, I mean, people from upper class, and somebody says that highly educated person, and also you said professional person, just like who are linguists, jara bhashabid, so they bring changes. All these people actually they influence language, and accordingly, actually, we can see the change in the linguistic form. What social mechanisms help a new feature of language take hold and spread? So they will also work on this, that what social mechanisms actually help a new feature of language, that how actually it influences language, and what are the things, what are the mechanisms that will add some new feature to the language, or that will take hold. Take hold means in Bengali, take hold and spread. That means যেটা নিয়ন্ত্রণ নেবে এবং ছড়িয়ে দেবে ভাষাটাকে। কোন ধরনের মেকানিজম সেটা সমাজের মধ্যে কাজ করে যেটা ভাষাটাকে নিয়ন্ত্রণ করে এবং ভাষাকে ছড়িয়ে দেয়? So what social mechanisms? কোন সামাজিক প্রেক্ষাপট, সামাজিক মেকানিজম বা সামাজিক ব্যবস্থা সেটাকে প্রভাবিত করে? So this is also another way that sociolinguists they will try to find the answer. Then what features of language do people vary according to their social situation? So we are in a different social situations, and according to the social situations, our features of language also they keep changing. For example, if you go to a funeral is a one social situation. Marriage ceremony is a one social situation. Birthday party is a one social situation. Celebrating your friend's achievement is a one social situation. You understand me? What I'm saying? Do you get it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And you will see that the way actually we talk in a gathering that is organized by one of our friends to celebrate his achievements, the way actually we will talk or behave will not be the same when actually we are in a funeral in a funeral session, or when actually we are in a funeral. Understood? You understand?
Yes, sir.
You know the meaning of the funeral, right? তো যখন মারা যায়,
Yes, sir.
মারা যাওয়ার যেখানে যে আয়োজন
অন্ত্যেষ্টি
করা,
ক্রিয়া।
শ্রাদ্ধ।
exactly, শ্রাদ্ধ বা অন্ত্যেষ্টি ক্রিয়া, exactly, বা শেষ ক্রিয়া আমরা যেটাকে বলি, শেষ কৃত্য এরকম বলা হয়। So when you go to this kind of occasion or this kind of party or this kind of session gathering, so you will see that in the funeral gathering our behavior and the way we talk, it completely changes. It changes completely, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Our mood change. Basically.
Exactly, according to the mood and according to the social, because social situation is different. That's why our moods also change accordingly.
Always mood swing.
Mood swing is a different thing. I mean, it's a kind of psychological stuff because of the hormonal disorder and different kinds of family life problems, complexities. Your mood can swing, but social situation here actually it's not mood swing. Very consciously you do that. It happens automatically, but also you're very conscious. For example, when you go to a funeral procession or funeral gathering, then actually usually in the funeral service, actually you don't talk that much. You just keep quiet. Listen to other people's or people from their close ones, or the important people, important persons, figures, or his or her close friends or sons and daughters or brothers or sisters. They are talking about them, and you just listen and you just
Full of somberness.
Yes, exactly, full of somberness. It's a somber environment, so that's why actually you behave in that way. Okay, now we'll move on to the next question. What attitudes do people have towards regional dialects and foreign accents? So you see, for example, personally, sometimes I get very much biased actually, or you can say I cannot be impartial when I listen to different kinds of dialect. So sometimes, unwillingly, I start underestimating that person. When somebody, even being an educated person, he is speaking in his dialect. Do you follow me what I'm saying? এমন অনেক সময় হয় না যে তুমি একটা কোন এনভায়রনমেন্টে আছো, কোন একটা সিচুয়েশনে বা পরিবেশে আছো, in that context you can see that there is one of the persons, he's highly educated, but he's speaking in Rangpurian dialect. তখন তার প্রতি একটা কেমন যেন লাগে যে এত শিক্ষিত লোক, সচিব পর্যায়ের লোক এভাবে কথা বলে কেন? সে তো খুব স্পষ্ট কথা বলে এরকম ভাবে, কিন্তু আসলে তো কোনো অন্যায় নেই। সিচুয়েশন অনুযায়ী সে চেঞ্জ করতে পারতো, কিন্তু তার রিজিওনাল ডায়ালেক্টের প্রতি ওটা ভাষা তো, কিন্তু এই যে আমি হীন করে দেখছি, ছোট করে দেখছি। So এই অ্যাটিটিউডের কারণ কি, কেন হচ্ছে? On the other hand, when I listen to any foreign accents, especially, I'm talking about English, then we admire them. Oh, you have a very good foreign accents. You have nice foreign accents. So we admire them, we praise them, right?
Yes, sir.
But at the same time, if my Bangla, it sounds like someone from the foreign country, he's just using that Bangla, then you will laugh at me and you will not like it. That being a Bengali, he just stayed 5 or 6 or 10 years in USA. Now when he came back, he has lost his Bangla. Now he's speaking Bangla just like an English person, Englishman, or an American. So you will not take it easy. So this is another thing, that why actually our behavior or attitudes actually towards people changes based on regional dialects and foreign accents. Then what happens when people wish or need to interact with people who speak another language? What happens when people wish or need to interact with people who speak another language? So if I want to speak with, for example, with an Indian, because since actually we are in the bordering area, so that's why I'm giving you an example from India. So if I want to talk to a person who is an Indian, you'll find that Indian, maybe he speaks Urdu or Hindi, and I speak Bangla. So I have to use English as a lingua franca, because English, he knows English and I know English. The problem is that my attitude will be changed. And why actually it happens? During the interaction, why actually we behave in this way? So you can see more or less there are other questions, so I don't want to go through all these questions since actually we're running out of time. So I will go through some more, some of the important issues that needed to be addressed. So all these questions actually sociolinguists, they will try to find out, and they will try to have some research. We can also do the same research in our locality, that why the language of our locality, I mean, it has been changed, because you can see that 20 years back, the way your seniors, they used to talk, or 20 years later, you people, maybe you're not talking in the same way, you're talking in a different way. Okay, so with the rise of education, I mean, the percentage of education, people participating in the education system or taking education, with that, you can see that the dialect, it gets affected, and people, most of the time, they try to speak in a standard language. So it affects the dialect. So why actually it happens? So sociolinguists also, all the time, they try to find out all these aspects of the language in relation to the society. Now, we have two types of sociolinguistics. One is microlinguistics, and another one is macrolinguistics. Micro means mini, macro means huge, large, big. So microlinguistics is study of variable patterns within a language or dialect. So microlinguistics actually deals with, for example, if I do a research only on the Rangpurian dialect, then that is a microlinguistic. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I mean, sir, wrong, মানে কি ডায়ালেক্টের মধ্যে হতে হবে, মানে যে বললেন রংপুর ডায়ালেক্ট।
No, not necessarily. For example, I'm just doing a research, and I'm just doing research on Rangpur dialect from the Rangpur areas, Rangpur district. Okay, so that is micro, because I haven't taken, I mean, in my consideration, the other dialect from the same you can say divisional region. I could have taken Nilphamari, I could have taken some of my sources or data. I could have collected some data from Gaivanda. I could have collected some data from Bogra. I could have collected some data from Dinajpur. But I didn't do it. My concern is only wrong. So that is microlinguistic. Macrolinguistic is a study of language and how they're distributed. That is, I mean, from the broader perspective, and you can, when you actually do research, or if you study, or if you try to compare from one place with one place to another place, and also you try to consider different social and linguistic aspects from different other societies, different other districts or places, then it becomes macrolinguistic. Okay, is it okay? The difference is okay?
Yes, sir.
Sir, macrolinguistic.
Micro is only for one particular area, but macro is for many places together.
ও ওকে স্যার।
Okay, sir.
স্যার ম্যাক্রোলিঙ্গুইস্টিক্স কি ডিফারেন্ট মানে পার্থক্য দেখাতে হবে একটার সাথে আরেকটার?
Actually, it's not like that all the time. Actually, you will do the compare and contrast. You can also do some other things like you can just see that how this language is working there, how that language is working there. So that is not exactly showing the difference, but you are trying to find out the factors. So it's not that all the time actually we have to go for the difference. We can also go for the similarities. So in the macrolinguistic, we try to find all these similarities, dissimilarities from with one place to, comparing one place to another place. So we will, in the macrolinguistic, you can find the collection of data and the research work that is huge. অর্থাৎ আমি যখন রিসার্চ করতে যে যখন আমি ইনফরমেশন কালেক্ট করবো কিছু করবো তখন আমার সেখানে মানুষের সংখ্যা এবং বিভিন্ন জেলার মানুষকে আমি ইনকর্পোরেট করছি, এক জেলার লোক নিয়ে কাজ করছি। এটা হচ্ছে ম্যাক্রো লিঙ্গুইস্টিক্স এর একটা জাস্ট বেসিক একটা আইডিয়া দিলাম, একটা উদাহরণ। বোঝা গেছে? Now our time is up, I think, right?
জি স্যার, 12টা
minutes extra left.
Okay, no problem. I think you have another lecture with Sina ma'am, so I'll just conclude it very swiftly. Now, we'll be studying dialect. You see, sociolinguistics also study dialect, any regional, social, or ethnic variety of a language. For example, our regional variety is from, you can say, Noakhali, Chittagong, Kumilla. You see, they have a different dialect, right? So that is regional dialect. And social dialect is based on the society. So Noakhali, Kumilla, Lokhipur, Feni, you see, they have a different kinds of the social structure. So they have different kinds of dialect. And ethnic means the specific group of people. For example, people from Hindu community, they are staying together. So their language can be, homogeneous, and it can be different from the people from the Muslim community. Similarly, people from the Muslim community, they have different kinds of vocabulary, different kinds of understanding. So it might be different from the people from the Hindu community. So that is based on ethnicity that I'm saying. Also, you can see in foreign countries, in abroad, you can see people living in America. Bangladeshi people, they like to live together. So in a certain area, you'll find that all the people there from Bangladesh. In certain area, you'll find that all the people there from Pakistan. In one area, you'll find that all of them they're from India. Do you understand me what I'm saying? আমরা যেটাকে বলি বাংলাদেশি পাড়া, ইন্ডিয়ান পাড়া, পাকিস্তানি পাড়া. You understand it, right?
Yes, sir.
So accordingly, the language can vary. So that is also, we call it dialect. So try to find it out. That I have put most of the information here. So if you just go through them, I hope that so far that we have discussed, and you'll find it easy to understand. And besides dialect, also we'll be discussing vocabulary. Vocabulary also sometimes varies by region. For example, vocabulary people living in the Feni might differ from people living in the Noakhali. শব্দের পার্থক্য হয় না? You can also see it even in Dinaspur. Dinaspur is it's a huge district. It's a big district. You'll find that the people from one union or one thana or police station that we call, so one upojila that we say in our language, you'll find that is sometimes their dialect, their vocabulary, their word choice is different from people living in the same, staying in the same district, but in a different upojila. You will find some difference. বুঝতে পেরেছো কি বলছি?
জি স্যার।
Yes,
হয় না?
sir.
এলাকা ভিত্তিক ভাবে দেখবা যে শব্দের ব্যবহারটা কিন্তু চেঞ্জ হয়ে যায় অনেক সময়। ওরা
হ্যাঁ,
হয়তো
একটু আলাদা।
যে শব্দ দিয়ে একটা সবজিকে বোঝায়, তোমার এলাকায় তুমি ওই সবজিটাকে অন্য নামে ডাকছো।
জি স্যার।
It happens, right?
জি স্যার।
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so I think that I should conclude here since you have another class and less than 5 minutes. So go through this handout. If you find any difficulty, please talk to me, and also you can text me and keep in touch. Thank you very much for your participation, and hope to see you in another class, inshallah. Until then, take care of yourself and stay safe. Bye.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Thank you, sir.
You're most welcome.